My name is Edward P. Jones. I'm born and raised in Washington, D.C., and I am a professor of English at George Washington University. When I went to college, I took a creative writing course my sophomore year, and I discovered, that there was something there. At least that's what the professor was saying. I got out of college, and I didn't do anything for a few years until about 3 years after my mother died, and then I wrote a story, and I sent it off to Essence, a national women's magazine, and it was published. I had already been thinking of the stories that were in the first book, Lost in the City, and a lot of them were gelling over that time. And I got to 1990. I had a day job with this esoteric tax magazine, and one of the fellows there, actually two guys there, who wanted to be writers, but things didn't turn out right for them, and they died. And I began to think, here were these two guys who would give anything to be alive and working, and yet here I was still working with these stories in my head. So I got to work, and in a year or so I was able to write the stories in Lost in the City. And then right after that, I began thinking of the things that eventually became The Known World, the novel. I think the more you think too highly of all the awards and everything, the harder the job is. You can't really teach creative writing. You can only be an editor. You can only be a kind of cheerleader. And so my job, given what they produce in class, is to try to guide them along the way. My feeling is, and I think it probably comes from having a mother who couldn't read or write, my feeling is that we can all do this writing stuff. Those fancy dancy people out there in the world, they want to make you feel as if only certain people high on the mountain can do this, and I tend not to believe that. There is in all of us a creativity bug. Even if the students in my classes don't decide to go on to be writers, as long as they can get up and write for themselves, then I think they're better for it. This is the George Washington University, and what we make is history.